Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the one and only Jay Stein coming at you with a little cryptocurrency update, among others. So, cryptocurrency, as we discussed yesterday, obviously came under a little bit of fire. There were some, how you say, announcements made by the Treasury Department in terms of trying to regulate cryptocurrency simply because they state that cryptos are being used to launder money for nefarious criminal organizations, which ironically, currently, these organizations are laundering their money through the United States dollar, which is, again, ironically, but they can't control Bitcoin. Now, another avenue that these criminal entities could go is gold and silver. It's almost untraceable. And Bitcoin, for the fact, or any type of blockchain currency for that matter, it's public. Is it tough to come back and figure out who's who? Sure. So is the dollar, and so is gold and silver. So, this idea that banning cryptos because of that reason is absurd, except for they can't control Bitcoin and they can control the USD, the United States dollar. On top of that, they don't have taxable revenue that they can generate off of these cryptocurrencies. And on top of that, it's globally traded. It's globally traded. So this idea that they can regulate it is, I don't want to say preposterous, but very difficult. Very, very difficult. The only way, in my opinion, there's two ways that they could go about it. Okay, they could straight up outlaw it, make it illegal, criminalize it, and penalize anybody that tries to use it. Something similar to what they did in China. But understand that that would be financial tyranny if they were to do that. Now, the other option that they have would be to create a central bank, Federal Reserve digital dollar, and basically repeg our entire currency. So, that's the only ways that they could do it. So this drop in Bitcoin over the weekend, I believe, was an expected healthy pullback. And this idea of regulation, really, I don't think it's not going to materialize. It can't. I mean, it could, but under very specific conditions that, again, would be considered financial tyranny. So that's my take on that. I'm waiting just a little bit longer, and I'm actually going to buy some more cryptos, but I'm waiting just a second just because of the general consensus among people who don't fully understand cryptocurrencies. So let's let those guys get shook out, and then I'm going to start buying more. And it looks like it's kind of holding stable, but I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. Now, let's talk about the COVID home test kit. I think it's awesome. Abbott came out and they've got their own test kit that they're putting out that you can do at home. So for the people that choose not to get the vaccine, but still want to be socially safe, and maybe they've been exposed to somebody that has it, or they think they have it, they can do these tests at home. And we're talking $25 for 2 tests. So it is a very safe practice to continue wearing your mask and having these tests at home in case you feel like you've been exposed to it, and you're being socially responsible. And it's for those who don't want to get vaccinated, and that's fine, either or. So it's a great alternative, no matter what side of the camp you fall onto. So that's pretty cool. It was announced today that marijuana stocks had just gotten some deregulation. Basically, the stocks that were sold over the counter in Canada just got access to the United States markets. So that's pretty cool. And ironically, it happened to be passed on the 20th day of the 4th month of the year. I guess that makes it 420. So happy 420 to you potheads out there. It's pretty cool. Now, oil's been fluctuating in a pretty broad range today. It was down pretty significantly. It's come back, but the oil services and the what's it called? The oil producers, the drillers, they've been getting hit pretty hard today. So it's worth noting, definitely, but they have to keep it propped up simply because it's how they're going to hide inflation. That's how they're going to maintain control over the overall markets and the world in terms of energy and energy production. Definitely worth keeping an eye on, for sure, for sure. So that's that. We already covered the Bitcoin. Coming up on Sunday, Stansberry Research, Daniela Kimbona, she's hosting a debate between Frank Gusta and Michael Saylor. Frank Gusta is all about gold. Michael Saylor is all about Bitcoin. It's going to be an awesome debate. Stansberry Research. If you're not subscribed, I highly recommend you do. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Now, the markets today, they're down. The Dow's down like 300 points. And I believe that's simply because markets are anticipating all different kinds of earnings. Netflix is coming out this afternoon, so we'll see how that works. And I can tell you that the financials, the big banks, they're not liking it. They're not liking it. They are down pretty substantially as well today. Nothing monumental, but definitely down. So we will see how these earnings reflect. Now, if the banks are privy to stuff we're not, unless you work for a big bank, in which case you're not watching this, I can tell you that much. They might be seeing something that we don't. And if I had to predict, is that people are blowing through their stimulus money and now they're starting to pull back a little bit because a lot of these benefits very easily could be coming to a halt. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. Now, the 10-year yield is actually slightly up, but it has normalized as it was this morning. It was like at 1.6 this morning. And as of right now, it is sitting at, it was 158 just a minute ago, and it's taking my computer a very long time to pull that up, but it's stabilizing, and the dollar is actually slightly up, but just very, very slightly. And actually, yeah, the 10 years actually dropping. It's 156, which is good. It's kind of what I want to see. And that dollar being relatively flat is a good sign. However, the markets are still trading down. But again, this is to be expected. We can't just go record high after record high after record high and not expect some sort of a pullback. So this idea that it's the upcoming earnings, I'm not really in that camp. And here's why. The Federal Reserve is going to continue creating endless money. They are. That's just the end of it. So this pullback, okay, it's going to happen, but I expect there to be a rebound of significant manner and for us to continue hitting new highs. And I think that's going to go up until a couple different factors. A, if the 10-year starts creeping past that 2.5 mark, 2.8 mark, that 3-point mark, that's when I'm going to start getting a little bit alarmed, especially depending on how the markets actually react over that. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And I'm going to do a video tonight on ETFs, on leveraged ETFs, and kind of break them down just for those who aren't familiar with them or for those who have tried to trade them and lost a lot of money. They're very tricky. So I'm going to do a video on that this evening. So if anybody's actually watching this and wants to learn a little bit of something about that, definitely tune in. And also, I will be paying attention to the trial, the Chauvin trial up in Minnesota, because this is going to have major implications in a social realm, and I'm not quite sure if that can carry over and have an effect on the markets. Because if the people that want to see him get convicted to the most. I mean, they want, yeah, multiple life sentences, which is possible, I guess. But if they don't get what they want, we could definitely see a lot of unrest throughout the country. And depending on the level of that and where it's at, could possibly have some sort of implication on the market. I don't really know, but it's worth noting, and I will keep track of it. And if it does start popping off, I'll do a live stream on it, and we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for the midday update. So yeah, anything comes up, I'll do a video on it. Otherwise, I'll check you guys this afternoon. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, and please hit the thumbs up, okay, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. I'm going to try doing these things as live streams now, just to make it fun. So if anybody does ever start to get in here, we can have the chat room and do something like that. Anyways, guys, have a good rest of the trading day, and I will talk to you later.